212 members of Congress have just slapped their names on a bombshell impeachment resolution aimed straight at Donald Trump. And folks, this ain't some half-baked political theater meant to grab headlines and vanish into the ether. Oh no, this is the third impeachment showdown in just 6 years. But Washington insiders are whispering that this one's got real teeth, backed by ironclad documents so explosive, so unspinnable, they're already cracking the marble floors of Capitol Hill. Picture this. Nearly half the U.S. House of Representatives rallying behind this nuclear option in under 72 hours. That's not a polite debate. That's a full-on detonation, a seismic shift that's got everyone from power brokers to everyday Americans gripping their seats, wondering if we're witnessing the unraveling of an empire. Buckle up, because what sparked this inferno is being hailed as the most jaw-dropping scandal since Watergate exploded onto the scene. Before we dive into the gritty details that'll make your blood boil, do me a favor. Smash that subscribe button right now if you're hooked, because the twists ahead are straight out of a political thriller you won't believe is real life. Now, let's rewind to what lit the fuse. A top-secret intelligence briefing on January 15, 2026, that allegedly uncovered damning proof of the administration colluding with shady foreign financial kingpins, meddling in red-hot federal probes like some shadowy puppet master pulling strings from the Oval Office. Reports flooding in from multiple congressional committees paint a picture of direct, no-holds-barred communications between White House cronies and overseas banking moguls, right smack in the middle of sensitive Justice Department operations. This isn't your garden-variety political mudslinging. Constitutional heavyweights are sounding the alarm, declaring this could be a blatant betrayal of the presidential oath, the kind that shakes the very pillars of American democracy. Imagine it, a commander-in-chief weaponizing power to twist law enforcement decisions, all while foreign fat cats grease the wheels. That's not just a scandal, it's a full-blown crisis, a betrayal that reeks of corruption so deep it could poison the well for generations. And get this, the gut punch twist that'll have you reeling. This isn't just Democrats foaming at the mouth for payback. No, sir. Republican bigwigs, the very loyalists who've shielded Trump through endless storms of controversy, are jumping ship and signing on to this impeachment blitz. When die-hard defenders from the president's own party start turning coats, you know the rot runs deep, exposing fractures that could splinter the GOP into warring factions overnight. The hatred bubbling up between these former allies is palpable. Accusations of betrayal flying like daggers, with Trump's base howling for blood against these traitors who've dared to prioritize country over cult of personality. Let's peel back the layers on the backstage drama that's been simmering for months, turning into a cauldron of resentment and rage. Tensions between the White House and Congress have been at a fever pitch, with executive overreaches that lawmakers decry as tyrannical power grabs, vicious battles over key appointments that devolved into personal vendettas, and mounting horror over foreign financial entanglements that sleuths started red flagging as early as September 2025. But the powder keg exploded on January 12, 2026, when a gutsy whistleblower from the Treasury Department dropped a mammoth dossier, 847 pages of transaction logs and insider chats, that left seasoned D.C. veterans slack-jawed and seething. Sources who've pored over these files in locked-down rooms swear the patterns scream foul play. Financial flows syncing up suspiciously with abrupt halts in federal crackdowns. Probes into certain entities mysteriously iced while massive payouts slithered into accounts linked to administration insiders. The timing? Too perfect to be coincidence. The implications? A web of deceit that fuels outright hatred, pitting whistleblowers against stonewalling bureaucrats, Democrats against Republicans in screaming matches that echo through the halls of power. If these pauses were orchestrated from on high, we're talking about a deliberate sabotage of justice, amplifying the enmity between branches of government to levels that could erupt into all-out institutional warfare. Honestly, it's mind-blowing to see bipartisanship rear its head in such a venomous climate. members from both sides uniting against a president in a spectacle unseen for decades. If this is firing you up, drop a like and let me know in the comments. Do you think this could finally be the endgame for unchecked presidential power? Or is it just another chapter in the endless saga of Washington witch hunts? Your thoughts could spark the next big debate right here. Fast forward to January 14, 2026, when the House Judiciary Committee hunkered down in a fortified bunker beneath the Capitol for an emergency lockdown session. No phones, amped-up security, the works. What started as a routine briefing morphed into a horror show of revelations that left battle-hardened polls pale and trembling. The turning point: Republican Chairman Gerald Whitmore from Ohio, a Trump stalwart who'd dismissed past impeachments as partisan poison, emerged looking like he'd seen a ghost, hands shaking, dodging cameras like a man on the run. By nightfall, his signature was etched on the impeachment papers, a stunning defection that ignited fury among Trump's inner circle, branding him a backstabber and fueling calls for his political execution. But the real chill factor hit during Deputy Treasury Secretary Margaret Collins' testimony, a moment so tense it could curdle milk. Grilled on the dodgy transactions and frozen probes, she dropped bombshells. Career analysts had spotted the red flags back in October 2025, only to be muzzled, their reports entombed in secrecy. The room hung on her every word as the killer question dropped. Who issued the gag order? 11 agonizing seconds of silence stretched like eternity, amplifying the suspicion and spite in the air. Then, her cryptic dodge, "I cannot answer that," sparked an eruption, with Democrat Diana Thornton from California slashing back like a prosecutor on fire. "You're under oath. Are you hiding behind executive privilege?" The standoff escalated into pure drama. Collins denied it, invoking classified national security risks that could expose vital intel. Chairman Whitmore, voice laced with dread, pressed harder. "Are you implying obstruction's been cloaked as a security matter?" Her evasive response, admitting discomfort but stonewalling on the chain of command, left the committee in stunned silence for 8 endless seconds. Then Whitmore's bombshell. "This is bigger than Watergate, obstruction draped in the American flag." Those words leaked like wildfire, fanning flames of division, with Trump's allies decrying it as treasonous slander while opponents hailed it as a clarion call for justice. To amp up the drama, let's draw the eerie parallels to Nixon's downfall. Not the burglary, but the cover-up that poisoned everything. The Saturday Night Massacre, where Nixon axed the prosecutor hunting him, mirrors this alleged scheme to throttle investigations for financial gain, using national security as a smokescreen. It's a playbook of power abuse that's breeding intense loathing. Trump's camp painting whistleblowers as deep state saboteurs, while reformers scream about a presidency morphing into a dictatorship. Add in the giantly sensational twist. Rumors swirling of foreign oligarchs with ties to hostile regimes funneling millions, potentially compromising U.S. secrets in exchange for dropped probes. Imagine the outrage if these links trace back to election meddling or espionage. It could ignite international scandals, with allies like Europe eyeing America as a banana republic teetering on collapse. Flash back through Trump's impeachment trilogy for context that heightens the hatred. The 2019 Ukraine fiasco? Strict party line acquittal amid accusations of aid extortion. 2021's January 6th insurrection? 7 GOP senators broke ranks, but it fizzled. Now, in early 2026, it's a game changer. Concrete docs, unspinnable financial trails, oath-bound testimony from insiders, 47 Republicans bolting to impeachment? That's a mass mutiny, splintering the party into bitter camps, loyalists versus constitutionalists, with primary threats and donor boycotts turning former friends into sworn enemies. The vitriol online is off the charts. Death threats, doxing, families torn apart over dinner tables. Legal eagles are dubbing this a live-wire constitutional meltdown, not partisan bickering but hard evidence. Time-stamped wires, signed memos, brave officials risking careers to expose the rot. Conservative pundit Andrew McCarthy warns it's the founder's nightmare. A president hijacking government for personal profit, eroding checks and balances into oblivion. The fallout's brutal. Markets tanking amid global whispers of U.S. instability, polls spiking for hearings as public fury boils over. Institutions are in lockdown mode, officials lawyering up, fearing a subpoena tsunami that could drag skeletons from closets across D.C. The White House trap is deliciously ironic. Rally the rabid base with cries of witch hunt, smear leakers as criminals, but face unassailable proof from their own ranks. Trump's Truth Social rants name-check the 47 GOP traitors, vowing vengeance that only deepens the divide, turning the party into a battlefield of purges and power struggles. Sensational add-on. Insiders leak that classified docs hint at personal Trump family gains from these deals, potentially millions in hidden assets, fuel for tabloid frenzy, with opponents chanting, "Lock him up," in echoes of his own rallies. This transcends one man. It's a referendum on whether America's system can cage a rogue executive or if we're sliding into autocracy. Ex-AG Eric Holder thunders on CNN. This could crown a king if unchecked. Senator Mitt Romney's stark warning after eyeing classified intel. Alarm bells for the Republic, facts over fealty. GOP leaderships in chaos, emergency huddles fracturing over defense versus desertion, with the base unleashing digital lynch mobs on defectors. What do you think, viewers? Is this the tipping point where loyalty crumbles under evidence's weight, or will Trump rally and crush the revolt? Share your hot takes below. We're all in this drama together. As we hurtle forward, 212 signatures, including those 47 GOP bombshells, signal careers on the chopping block for truth's sake. The core. Can obstruction hide behind security veils? With the House Judiciary's public grilling set for January 22, 2026, subpoenas flying at classification gatekeepers, and Treasury IG reports looming, expect courtroom clashes over privilege claims that could drag to the Supreme Court. The White House gears for war, but America's watching. Will duty trump fear? This isn't fading news, it's a defining crisis testing presidential bounds. Documents don't lie, resolutions demand action, stakes sky high, evidence rock solid. Will accountability prevail? Hit like if you're riveted, subscribe for the blow-by-blow, and tell me, do you believe this could reshape American politics forever? Or is it overhyped hype? Your voice matters. Let's debate.